Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Andy, and let's take a look at your situation, or your wife's situation, I should say. So your wife scored a 57 on the TOEFL, reading 12, listening 9, speaking 18, and writing 18. The program she's interested in requires an 80 by December. She thinks it will take her years to improve her English to the point where she can score an 80. How difficult a task is this? Is it possible in a few months? It's difficult. It really is. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but also I can tell you this. A lot of the students who use my online course, now I'm not exactly statistically, I'm giving you kind of an average here, but a lot of students can improve their score 5 to 10 points overall for each month that they use my service. So we're looking right now at a few months. Let's say she starts September, October, November, and then you have December. You're looking at approximately 4 months. So I think it's within reason. I mean, I'm going to say a 60% chance of your wife reaching her goal by December. And I don't think it will take years to improve her English to the point where she can score an 80. But it is a difficult task. So is it possible? I'm going to give you about a 60% possibility of her reaching this goal by December. That would probably be a pretty accurate, estimate. So what does she do? Well, here's what I recommend. Because her score is lower, and remember, it's not terrible. I mean, if she scores around 60 or 61, that qualifies her to study undergraduate study at a lot of American universities. Now, if she wants to study graduate study, then she needs the score of 80 or 81. So here's my recommendation. Month 1, it's easy. She can focus in the vocabulary, pronunciation, and the grammar parts of my course. That's the first month. Now, for the second month, she can focus in the listening and the reading areas of my course. And then maybe for the third and fourth month, she can focus in the speaking and the writing areas. Now, the good news is she's already pretty close to her target of 20 on both of those. But the problem that she's going to have is she has a lot of difficulties that she has to solve with the listening and the reading areas. So her goals as she goes through my course are as follows. You might want to write these down. Remember, I have my online course covers 7 different sections, and I just outlined them before you. Vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking areas. So for the vocabulary section, her goal is to learn 1,700 words. That's how many words I have in my course. So it's hard work. You can even help her. What you can do is one of the things I think are useful is to take the words that she sees in the first part of my course and to write those words down on note cards. You put the word on one side, you put the definition and the sample sentence on the other. Maybe you can do 750 cards, she does 750. So what she does, or you do, is you're creating note cards for her, and it's actually better that you do your own, and I don't do them for you. Obviously, I'm too busy, but she's going to learn by putting those words on those cards. This is very important. Now, she's going to use those cards and begin studying them. She's going to start studying these things on a regular basis. Now, her goal in the vocabulary part of my course is to get 85 or higher on my final exam. My final exam draws from a test bank of over 1,000 questions. She'll see 20 questions, 25 questions. If she gets 85 on that vocabulary final exam, she's in pretty good shape and is probably ready to move on to other parts of my course. Now, for the pronunciation area, she needs to score about 5.1 out of 7. That would be the goal that she wants to get on my post-test. Now, number 3, with the grammar, the goal here is to go through all the grammar exercises and lessons. Complete them all. When she's done with that, she's finished that. So the first month, she can do those 3 sections. Now, the vocabulary is something that she probably has to continue recycling and continue relearning as she's going between now all the way through December. Now, in the listening area, I have TOEFL level academic type lectures. If she can score 80 or 85 on 4 or 5 lectures in a row, then she's got the listening that she needs. Now, obviously, she's probably not going to do that for a while because the listening score is so low. Now, for the reading, she wants to do a few things. Number one, she's already studying the vocabulary in my first step, which is useful for her reading. Number two, tell her this. Before she does anything, before she studies my online course or any other course, she does not need an online course to do this one thing. But this one thing, Andy, is very, very important. She needs to spend time reading about 45 minutes each day, reading magazines, newspapers, most importantly, books. Any kind of book, even the Harry Potter series would be good. She needs to read longer books so she can improve her ability to concentrate, to comprehend, and to think, even speculate in English. Reading is the number one thing. She's got to do that. So she's studying vocabulary, she's reading extensively. Then in my reading section, she'll become more familiar with the IBT reading test-taking strategies, and she'll want to review that right before she takes her test in December. Now, the next thing she needs to do is improve her reading speed. Now, you and I know, Andy, that if you read faster, believe it or not, you will remember more and concentrate better and comprehend more. It's going to be better because faster readers have fewer distractions. That's exactly why in my reading part of my course, I have 70 different speed reading tests to improve her speed reading from 100 to 350 words a minute. So she definitely needs to work on increasing her reading speed. It doesn't happen easily, but she can do it slowly. Each of my reading practice tests, it's 5 more words than the one before. So what she needs to do is complete that practice test over and over until she gets at least 80% on the comprehension quiz. For example, she takes my first practice test, which is 100 words a minute. She watches the video for 1 minute. She clicks on Attempt Quiz Now. She takes the quiz. If she scores 80, she's ready to go to the next reading passage, which is 105. And little by little, she goes. She progresses as she increases her reading speed. This is very important. Now, on the writing section of my course, she can actually go through my independent and integrated writing lessons, and then she can start completing practice tests. Her goal is to try to score 24 points or higher on the writing section. Now, before I forget, let me go back to the reading section one more time. Sorry about this. The speed reading, I recommend that she achieve about 300 words a minute or more. That's acceptable. That's an acceptable reading speed for the TOEFL 800-word reading passages. If she reads at 300 words a minute, she will have no problems finishing reading those passages. Now, going back to writing. So again, she wants to go through the lessons, take the practice test, get some feedback from me. She'll get her score, and based on her score, she'll probably need to review a few lessons, and then she'll come back and take another practice test. Again, trying to reach 24 points. And finally, during the speaking section of my course, now she's already gone through everything. She's gone through vocabulary, the pronunciation, the grammar, the listening, the reading, even the writing, which is going to help her with her organization. Now she should have everything that she needs to put together a coherently organized speech with what I call good intelligibility and fluency of American English. So as she goes through the speaking part of my course, she wants to go through the lessons and complete those independent and integrated practice tests until she can score between 24 and 26 points out of 30, and that's also going to put her in a very good position. So she can do this. I'm going to say that it's not unheard of to reach the goal that she wants. And I've had students go from 39 to 60 something. They did that in 3 months. They almost doubled their score. So your wife is trying to go from 57 all the way to 80. It's approximately 60. So she's looking at about 20 points in the 3 to 4 month period. And really, I mean, let's face it here. It's based on her English proficiency. She can get better, and she will get better, but part of it really depends on her own motivation, her psychology of her own mind. Does she really want to do this? Is she motivated to do this? Not you, not anybody else, but is she motivated to achieve this result? So it has to really come from within her, and if she works hard and takes some of the suggestions that I'm going through you, or I'm talking to you, to her, you know, if she takes these suggestions, she definitely, I think, has a very good chance of reaching her goal. All right? And remember that it is hard work, and before she enrolls in any type of online TOEFL course, she has to look at this as a commitment. It's a time commitment. So she needs to budget in time each week. When she becomes one of my students, for example, you know, she looks at her calendar for this week. She's focusing right now for the first month in vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar, so she needs to look at those different sections of my course and then begin setting goals about what she wants to study and how she wants to study it. But I have a lot of materials. Trust me, I can keep her busy between now and December. I have over 170 hours of instruction, so there's plenty of information for her. There's some good videos, some good PDF files. There's some great web pages I've set up to help her. And then it's 80% self-study and independent. You know, she works on everything herself. And then when she does the pronunciation, speaking, and writing practice test, that's when I get involved. Right? Other than that, when she's doing the vocabulary, reading, and the listening areas, or the grammar areas, these are all independent, and all of her practice tests and quizzes will be scored automatically by my computer program. So she doesn't have to wait on me, she doesn't have to wait for me to do any of those things. But typically you're probably asking, well, what's the turnaround time for grading the pronunciation, speaking, or writing? It's about 1 to 2 days, you know, to be honest with you. Approximately. So sometimes I get a little bit busier than other days, and it could take a little longer depending on my schedule, but I typically try to get to my students' practice tests as quickly as I can. Alright, anyway, thank you very much for contacting me, and I wish your wife all the best to her high-scoring TOEFL success.